Have you ever had a moment when the universe seemed to be speaking directly to you? A song on the radio plays the exact words you needed to hear. A stranger's advice echoes your deepest thoughts, or a long-lost friend calls, just as you were thinking about them. These seemingly random occurrences feel charged with significance, as if some unseen force is orchestrating events behind the scenes. Carl Jung, the pioneering Swiss psychiatrist, gave a name to this phenomenon: synchronicity. He described it as the experience of meaningful coincidences that have no apparent causal connection, yet feel deeply connected in a way that defies logical explanation. Jung proposed that synchronicity is not just a psychological illusion, but an actual feature of reality. It suggests that our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, and intuitions can mysteriously align with the external world in ways that hint at an underlying order beyond chance. But if these coincidences aren't random, what could be guiding them? Some believe it is fate. Others call it divine intervention. While modern thinkers have started to explore a revolutionary idea that synchronicity may be a clue to a deeper reality hidden within the fabric of existence itself. What if our thoughts and experiences are not as separate from the physical world as we have been taught to believe? Materialist science, which dominates mainstream thought, tells us that reality is purely mechanical, that cause and effect govern everything, and that coincidences are merely accidents of probability. But what if this perspective is incomplete? What if there is a hidden principle at play, one that suggests reality is not purely physical, but deeply interconnected with our minds? This is where quantum physics enters the conversation, challenging long-standing assumptions about how the universe operates. Quantum mechanics has revealed that at the smallest scales of existence, particles can be mysteriously linked across vast distances, communicating instantaneously, an effect known as nonlocality. Could this principle also explain the strange, meaningful coincidences we experience in our daily lives? While quantum physics and Jungian psychology may seem worlds apart, some scientists believe they intersect in profound ways. The idea of psychophysical parallelism suggests that mind and matter are not separate, but aspects of the same underlying reality. This could mean that our consciousness plays an active role in shaping the events we encounter, that synchronicity is not mere chance, but a reflection of how deeply connected we are to the universe. If this is true, then our lives may not be as random as they seem. Perhaps they are part of a vast, intelligent design that we are only beginning to understand. But here's the real question: if synchronicity is real, what does it mean for us? Are these meaningful coincidences guiding us toward a deeper purpose, revealing hidden truths about our existence? And if so, can we learn to recognize and harness them? As we explore this mystery further, we'll uncover how quantum physics offers a startling explanation, one that may forever change how we see reality. Stay with us, because the journey into the unknown has only just begun. If meaningful coincidences are more than just chance, then what could be the invisible force connecting them? To answer this, we must turn to one of the most perplexing and revolutionary discoveries in modern science: quantum nonlocality. Imagine two particles separated by vast distances, yet instantly responding to each other's changes, as if no space or time separates them. This is not science fiction. It is a well-documented quantum phenomenon known as entanglement. What if the same principle applies to our minds and experiences? Could synchronicity be a sign that consciousness itself operates in a non-local way, linking events, thoughts, and people beyond the limits of space and time? Quantum physics has shattered our conventional understanding of reality. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrated that the mere act of observation influences the behavior of particles. This suggests that consciousness is not just a passive observer of the universe, but an active participant in shaping it. If this is true, then what we perceive as coincidences may be expressions of an underlying, interconnected field of consciousness, a reality where thoughts and events are intricately linked, even if we do not yet fully understand how. The implications of this are staggering. If our thoughts can influence reality at a quantum level, could synchronicity be more than just perception? Could it be a direct interaction between consciousness and the physical world? This idea aligns with Carl Jung's theory of psychophysical parallelism, the notion that mental and physical events do not simply coexist, but emerge from the same fundamental source. In other words, reality might be structured in such a way that our minds and the world around us are two expressions of the same deeper order. Skeptics argue that quantum physics should not be applied to human experience, that entanglement only happens at microscopic levels and does not influence daily life. But what if this assumption is wrong? Dr. Amit Goswami and other pioneers of quantum consciousness propose that the principles governing subatomic particles could also apply to the macro world, particularly in the way we experience reality. If consciousness is non-local, then synchronicity may be evidence that our minds are far more powerful and interconnected than we realize. But here's the real question: if synchronicity is an expression of quantum reality, what does this mean for our lives? Are we unknowingly influencing the world around us? Could our thoughts and intentions be shaping our reality in ways we have yet to comprehend? And if so, how can we harness this knowledge? As we move forward, we will explore real-life experiences that challenge the boundaries between the physical and the mental, revealing stories that hint at a profound truth waiting to be uncovered. Stay with us, because what comes next may change how you see reality forever. There comes a moment when mere coincidence ceases to be believable. When patterns emerge so undeniably precise that we are forced to consider, is something or someone guiding us? For many, this realization begins subtly, with a sequence of strange but seemingly connected events. But for some, like Dr. Amit Goswami, synchronicity does not simply knock at the door, it forces itself into reality in ways too powerful to ignore. His journey into the mystery of consciousness and the soul was not born from mere intellectual curiosity, but from a series of events so improbable that they shattered the framework of materialist science he once held. It all started with a question that caught him off guard. In a casual conversation, someone asked, "What happens after we die?" This wasn't an unusual question, but for some reason, it resonated deeply with him. That same evening, while browsing a bookstore, a single title caught his eye: The Tibetan Book of the Dead. The moment felt strangely significant, as if an invisible thread were pulling him towards something greater. He purchased the book, but even then, he had no idea that this was only the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Over the next few weeks, synchronicities intensified. Random discussions led back to the topic of life after death. Unexpected meetings with strangers revealed knowledge that eerily connected to his newfound interest. A scientific paper on quantum mechanics mentioned consciousness in a way that mirrored his thoughts. It was as if the universe itself had conspired to keep this subject at the forefront of his mind, pushing him toward a deeper exploration. He began to suspect that these occurrences were not random at all, that perhaps they were part of a larger design guiding him toward a revelation he was not yet ready to fully understand. Despite his scientific background, Goswami found himself wrestling with an undeniable truth: these experiences were not explainable through materialist science alone. The probability of these interconnected events happening purely by chance was astronomically low. It was then that he revisited Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity, realizing that these events mirrored the very phenomenon Jung had described. But why him? Why now? Was he being led toward an answer that had long been hidden from the realm of conventional science? The idea was both thrilling and unsettling. But here's where the mystery deepens. What if these synchronicities were not just guiding him toward knowledge, but toward a purpose? Could it be that his life's work was being shaped by an unseen force, nudging him toward uncovering something that humanity had long overlooked? And if so, what was the next step? The answers were about to reveal themselves in an even more dramatic way through a dream so vivid, so profound, that it would forever alter the course of his research. Stay with us, because what comes next may be the most astonishing revelation yet. Dreams have long been regarded as messengers from the unconscious, symbols of a hidden reality beyond our waking perception. Carl Jung believed that dreams could reveal deeper truths, messages from the collective unconscious, shaping our destiny. But what happens when a dream feels more real than waking life? When it leaves behind a certainty that cannot be shaken? This is exactly what happened to Dr. Amit Goswami one night. In the midst of his growing curiosity about life after death, he had a dream so vivid, so undeniable, that it changed the course of his entire life. In the dream, a voice deep, resonant, almost otherworldly spoke directly to him. "The Tibetan Book of the Dead is correct. You must prove it." The words echoed through his mind with a force that went beyond ordinary dreaming. He woke up in a state of awe and bewilderment. Unlike other dreams that fade upon waking, this one lingered, its message seared into his consciousness. Could it have been just a trick of the mind, or was something or someone guiding him toward a greater truth? He could not ignore the feeling that this was more than a random neurological event. It was a call to action. Jung himself had experienced similar moments, dreams so powerful they reshaped his understanding of the psyche and the nature of reality. He often spoke of the idea that synchronicity and dreams were intertwined, that the unconscious mind was not just personal, but part of a vast, shared reality that could communicate through symbols and archetypes. Could Goswami's dream have been an example of this? A moment where the unconscious broke through, revealing a deeper layer of existence? Or perhaps, as some mystical traditions suggest, dreams can be portals through which higher intelligence communicates with us. The timing of the dream was impossible to dismiss. Just as he was beginning to piece together the mystery of synchronicity, this experience arrived like a missing puzzle piece, demanding his attention. He felt compelled to act, to explore the connection between consciousness, quantum physics, and the afterlife. Was it possible that science had overlooked something fundamental? That reality itself was structured to allow for instantaneous communication, just between particles, but between minds, between realms. This was no longer just an intellectual pursuit. It had become deeply personal. But here's where the mystery deepens. If the dream was a message, who or what sent it? Was it his own subconscious, revealing truths buried deep within? Or was it something beyond the self, a force guiding him toward a discovery that materialist science had long ignored? And if dreams truly carry messages, then what was he supposed to do next? The answer came unexpectedly in the form of a stranger's voice, reaching out in a way that defied all logic. Stay with us, because what happens next will shake the very foundations of what we believe about life, death, and consciousness itself. There are moments in life when the ordinary dissolves, and we are left staring into the unknown. Moments when the universe seems to whisper directly to us, shattering the illusion of randomness. Just as Dr. Amit Goswami was wrestling with the profound implications of his dream, the phone rang. On the other end was a stranger, a grieving woman who, without knowing him personally, felt compelled to reach out. What she said would change everything. Through quiet sobs, the woman explained that she had just lost someone dear to her. But there was something else, something even more extraordinary. She had been having experiences, dreams, signs, an overwhelming sense that her loved one was still present in ways that defied logic. She had stumbled upon Goswami's work on consciousness and quantum physics and felt, for reasons she couldn't quite explain, that he was the only one who could help her make sense of what was happening. As she spoke, he felt an eerie recognition. This wasn't just another conversation. It was yet another synchronistic event, arriving precisely at the moment when he was questioning the nature of life after death. Had his dream prepared him for this? Was this woman's call part of the same unseen pattern that had been revealing itself piece by piece? The more she described her experiences, the more he saw a startling parallel to the very questions that had been haunting him. It was as if her pain, her search for answers, was an echo of his own internal journey. This conversation pushed him to dive even deeper into the mystery of psychophysical parallelism, the idea that consciousness is the foundation of both mental and physical reality. Materialist science had long insisted that the mind arises from the brain, that consciousness is nothing more than a byproduct of neural activity. But what if this was entirely backward? What if consciousness itself is the fundamental reality, and what we perceive as the physical world is merely its expression? If this was true, then death might not be an end, but a transition one that could be scientifically explored through the very same principles that govern quantum mechanics. But here's the question that lingers: was this final revelation the connection between consciousness, non-locality, and life after death truly the culmination of a deeper, guiding intelligence? Or was it simply the result of his own expanding awareness, allowing him to perceive the hidden order beneath the chaos? Either way, the path ahead was clear. This was no longer just a theoretical exploration, it was a mission, one that would lead to groundbreaking research, defying conventional science and offering a radical new understanding of what it means to exist. But before we conclude, there is one last piece to this puzzle, one final insight that ties everything together. Stay with us, because what comes next may be the most astonishing revelation yet. If consciousness is not just a byproduct of the brain, but the fundamental fabric of reality, then what does this mean for our understanding of life, death, and existence itself? This is the question that drove Amit Goswami to his final, groundbreaking revelation, the realization that the nature of the soul could be explained through quantum physics. For centuries, spiritual traditions have spoken of an eternal essence that transcends the body, an energy that continues beyond physical death. But could modern science finally provide the missing link between mysticism and materialism? At the heart of this perspective lies the concept of non-locality, the idea that quantum particles, once connected, remain instantly linked no matter how far apart they are. If our consciousness is fundamentally quantum in nature, then perhaps our soul is not confined to our bodies, but exists as part of a vast, interconnected field beyond space and time. This could explain phenomena like reincarnation, near-death experiences, and even the persistent feeling that we are more than just flesh and bone. Suddenly, the idea of the soul is no longer just a religious belief, it becomes a scientific possibility. This realization directly challenges the dominant materialist worldview, which insists that consciousness ends when the brain ceases to function. But what if the brain is not the source of consciousness, but simply a receiver, much like a radio picks up signals from an unseen broadcast? This idea is not new. Mystics and philosophers have hinted at it for millennia. But now, quantum mechanics provides a framework for understanding how it could work. If consciousness is non-local, then death is not an end, but a transition, a shift in the quantum state of the self. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, which first appeared to Goswami in synchronistic ways, describes this process in detail, guiding souls through the journey beyond the physical world. Could it be that ancient wisdom and modern science are pointing toward the same truth? The implications of this theory are profound. If consciousness transcends the body, then we are not merely biological machines operating under deterministic laws. We are something more, something deeply connected to the very structure of the cosmos. This realization reframes everything we know about reality. It suggests that our thoughts, intentions, and even our choices have far greater significance than we ever imagined. And more importantly, it offers hope that death is not the end, that we are part of a larger, intelligent design that we are only beginning to comprehend. So here's the final question: if synchronicities are guiding us, if consciousness is the true foundation of reality, then are we really in control of our destiny, or are we being led by something greater? Perhaps the real mystery is not whether the soul exists, but whether we are ready to recognize its presence in our lives. Now, we turn to you. Have you ever experienced a moment that felt like a message from beyond, a synchronicity too powerful to ignore? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insight may be the missing piece in someone else's journey. And if this exploration has sparked something within you, consider subscribing, because the mysteries of consciousness, the soul, and the universe are far from over.